36,000 gallons of oil spill into Tampa Bay. November 28th, 2000, an oil tanker loses power and runs aground near Port Sulphur, Louisiana, which we drove through yesterday. 500,000 gallons of oil pour into the lower Mississippi. All of that oil moving around the country with never-ending opportunities for huge oopses. Then March 23rd, 2005, one of the deadliest oil disasters in history. A massive, earth-shaking, window-shattering explosion at a BP oil refinery in Texas City kills 15 people. The government determined BP was so egregiously negligent it levied the largest fine ever, $21.3 million against that company. 4 years later, that record was broken when officials fined BP another $87 million for failing to correct hundreds of safety violations at the very same Texas City refinery 4 years after they killed 15 of their own workers at that same plant. Clearly, it was time for bold political action, right? Time to trot out that same tired line they always trot out before nothing changes.
Keeping America competitive requires affordable energy. And here we have a serious problem. America is addicted to oil.
The Deepwater Horizon drilling rig off the Louisiana coast here was feeding that addiction until an explosion 2 weeks ago killed 11 workers. As we speak, oil continues to flow unabated into the Gulf of Mexico with no end in sight. But this time we'll get it right? We'll learn the lessons from 4 decades of spills and crashes and explosions and fires.
As President of the United States, I'm going to spare no effort to respond to this crisis for as long as it continues. And we will spare no resource to clean up whatever damage is caused. And while there will be time to fully investigate what happened on that rig and hold responsible parties accountable, our focus now is on a fully coordinated, relentless response effort to stop the leak and prevent more damage to the Gulf.
We'll clean it up and everything will go back to normal. Normal presumably being the completely reliable effect of drilling and spilling. House Minority Leader John Boehner told Roll Call today, quote, "This tragedy should remind us that America needs a real comprehensive energy plan, like Republicans' all-of-the-above strategy." The Republican all-of-the-above strategy is a relic of the summer of 2008 when gas prices were so high filling up your tank could make you woozy. The plan boils down to essentially drill, baby, drill, in places including Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, which is very, very, very far away. Here in Louisiana, for all the criticism of a slow government response, failed attempts to stop the massive oil leaks, rescue crews were able to reach the disaster site almost immediately. This is the Gulf. Accidents and disasters happen. Human beings mess up. They mess up a lot. Technology messes up. If you mess up in the Arctic, where are your resources to clean up after yourself? Where are your crews and your booms and your boats and your scientists and your experts? Think about it. Where would you rather have a heart attack? Would you rather have a heart attack in New York City, near the hospitals and doctors and the medicine? Or would you rather have a heart attack on the moon? You obviously don't want to have a heart attack anywhere, but the Republican energy plan is a heart attack on the moon plan. It is a plan that ignores decades of oil disasters. But we have to continue to just go forward, right? Right, Senator Landrieu? Just like we always do, just keep plugging along, right?
Well, the solutions to this oil crisis that we're dealing with, I really, really, really do not want to post this. It's pretty scary to voice your opinions. I have studied all my life the nature of reality. I'm posting this channel to share some of the information that I've come to learn, because if we all knew what we were doing, we'd experience a completely different reality. Those that have seen that there's this new world order, if you can see that the economy is crashing, if you can see the bigger picture of what's going on, it's not a pretty picture. And this oil crisis is massive. It's extremely complex, and I'm not seeing anybody understand exactly what's going on yet. So to a certain extent, you're going to have to trust what I say. And the part that I hate the most is, don't trust me. Do the research. I hate people saying, here's the answer. And I go down their path and I find out it's complete crap. And I don't want to be one of those people. So I'm just one person. And I'm one person with an idea. And I'm not saying follow my path. I'm just saying here's something to think about. Now, this is a very, very dangerous problem. From what I know about H2, the gas that's being exposed there, it's extremely dangerous. We need to save ourselves. You have to kind of recognize that what the government's doing, what these big corporations are doing, they're not out to save you. And frankly, I know there's a lot of people that are getting unemployed. A lot of oil workers are getting unemployed, but you gotta kind of accept your unemployment. This problem is being caused because we're tied to oil. Oil is creating every war. Oil is controlling our entire economy, and the economy is going to crash, and somebody else is in control of that crash. And I'm saying, if we were in control of that crash, then it happens the way we want it to happen, and we get control. And if we are in control of this crash, then it won't be bad. If we let them be in control, it's going to devastate an awful lot of people. But if it's done in our own control, then it will be the best experience you've ever had. But it means a lot of people are going to be unemployed, but it also means there's an awful lot of jobs that need to be created. So you can't be in fear of a global economic crash. Be at one with it. Yeah, it's going to be rough for a couple of days, but this is where neighbors have to be helping each other out. Farmers need to help other people out. People need to help farmers because food's going to be extremely important. Now, the nature of reality, if you can see, nobody's telling you how reality is actually created. The way I found it is in bits and pieces. I sort of put the puzzle together, and I also had my own personal experiences. When I seen my experience and observed it, I reflected on myself to see, okay, how did that happen? And I was out to see if I can repeat it. Now, my own personal experience is I wanted a house. I had no income. I had no credit. I had no savings. And within 2 weeks, I moved into a brand new home. I've done this many, many times, and I can give you many, many stories. I can tell you that every particle on this planet is not touching each other. Nothing is solid. The only way everything is solid is because of the way you believe. So technically, and this is, I know, going to be hard to understand, but if you don't know how reality is created, then when somebody tells you, it's not going to make sense to you because you have no comprehension. But if you kind of listen to the story, technically, a miracle can happen and shut that flow of oil down. If you get enough minds together and just put the intention and the visualization in shutting that well down, it can shut down. Now, the problem when you're trying to create any reality is you have a block. So there's no way that's going to happen because there's way too many blocks going on in this planet. It's like if you have a wish, want, and desire for something to happen in your life and it doesn't happen, the only reason it's not happening is because you have some internal block, a subconscious belief system, a pattern in your life, a behavior in your life that is preventing you from actually attracting what it is you want. Now, to stop that oil, the blocks that we're having is our need for oil. As long as a lot of people are getting their employment from the flow of oil, that is the block. It will never ever stop. Everything, the way we make our living is by tragedy. If you can see the patterns, that every time there's a big catastrophe, guess what? There's a bunch of guys out there